Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday night to everybody. I'm dropping a link up there and right down there. If y'all want to jump in tonight, this is just hello and chat night. If you want to come in and join the show, shout out your channel or whatever, that's what tonight's going to be all about. It's been a while since we've done this. So jump on in, show your face, shout your channel out. Hang on a little, I got that light a little bright. Had me whited out there. So join us if you want to. Hit the link and come on in there. Joe Buck. Let's shout out a few people in here, but let's start this out by saying, God bless America. God bless each and every one of you and your families. I hope everybody's doing great. The storm's finally left here with all the rain. And we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Thank you, real gals. Yeah, I got a few of them. The wife, she sells that LuLaRoe women's clothing, and these was a few of the shirts, so she grabbed me some of them. I love them, too. I wish they wasn't a V-neck, but, hey, that's fine with me. I don't care. I ain't too picky. See, Mr. Abbott was first, Real Gals second, the Squirrel, Paul Frick. Who else we got in here? Fishing and Freedom, Ray Smith, Joe Buck 66, Anglerholics, Mike Irvin. There's Mr. Creole. I hope you didn't get too much damage down there where you live from all them storms. There's Sogo's in the house with us tonight. Mr. Lyle's in the house. There's Catmandu. Love that name. Corn-Fed Experience. Appreciate everybody coming in. Like I said, anybody wants to jump in tonight, you're more than welcome. Come on in. Shout out your channels. If you make a product or sell a product, there's Sharina. What's going on, lady? I hope you and your better half's doing great. Pontoon Jody's in the house. So anybody want to jump in? Come on in. Love to have you. Love to have some of y'all as a guest in there tonight. Oh, no, we missed the bad weather, James. Tornadoes were south of us around the New Orleans. Well, good. Yeah, I seen where there was some bad tornadoes and some damage down in your area. Mr. Lyle, I hope your back's feeling better, buddy. I know it probably felt worse after you was on that daggum boat rocking all day the other day. Thank you, Miss Jody. I appreciate it. Well, she finds me stuff like this all the time, so she gets it for me because she knows I'll wear it. There's a Hawaiian fisherman messaging me. He got his floats today. I sent out a mess of them the other day. It's that time, guys and gals. I sent some out to Catawba Backwoods. He lost one the other day, said he could see it swimming down the river. A 50 or 60 pound blue had a hold of it and he was gone. So I guess he broke it off above the barber stop. What's up, Ken? Mr. Ken Kennemer's in the house. Guys and gals, Chad's having that friendly gathering down there at the dock where I was going to host a tournament. And we got a few veterans that's called and said that they'd like to come down and maybe jump on some of the boats with us. I'm going to come down. Me and Wampus Cat's going to fish with all of y'all. So, because I don't ever get to fish none of it with y'all. So, we're going to fish against you this time or not against you, with you. And we're going to have fun. And the old gentleman that fished with us last year at the tournament, the veteran, he's going to be down there. He's going to come jump on the boat with us. So, we'll have a good time. I can't wait meet all y'all again. I really hate the tournament was canceled, but next year is going to be a lot bigger, a lot better, a lot more sponsors, and things are coming together. Any questions? So somebody come in and talk about the spring fishing coming in. What y'all's opinion on where to look, where to fish, how to fish, what baits to use, springtime in your area. So if anybody wants to jump in, hit the link and come on in. because that's kind of what I was wanting to talk a little bit about tonight, but I didn't have a guest lined up. So somebody hit the link. Come on in. There's Alan. What's going on, buddy? Now, I've been seeing some pigs being brought to the boat. Junior War Scouts been catching some pigs. Other people's been catching some pigs. What's up, Big Bill's Veteran Fishing? As of right now, I'm bringing a kayak. Oh, I hear you, boy. Appreciate that, Sogo. Hillbilly Moonshiners. Let's see. Fat Boy Eric Fishing. Appreciate you coming in. Like I said, guys, share the love, share the bait if you see a new channel, which most of you probably don't recognize everybody and done join their channels. There's Jose's Fishing Adventure. Appreciate you coming in. I talked to Running Late Fishing Josh yesterday. He's going to come down and fish with all of us. Richard, keeping it real fishing. Yeah, I know, Richard. I understand. What's up, James Kirkpatrick? Yeah, I've been seeing some pigs being brought in, not just on Wiley, but all over. There's Mr. Chad's in the house with us. I hope you and Dee's doing great, Chad. Yeah, I've been seeing some pigs, and it's been making me jealous, boy. I thought, it's probably been a year since I've been on the water. It's driving me freaking crazy. So somebody come in. Let's talk a little bit about spring fishing. Get y'all's opinion on it. My opinion is, I can't really say what's going on this year. It's been a while since I've been on the water. So I really can't say what's going on this year. What's up, Joe Newman? Normally springtime, I know I've heard Lyle talk about changing over from shad to skipjack or other stuff like that. There was 64 today on Wiley. Is that the temperature? Oh, a 64 caught on Wiley. Pig. Mr. Mike Greenwell's in the house with us. That's a pig. That's a pig. I'm telling you, Wiley is turning on big time. The flatheads is on a roll. The blues is on the bite. And I'm sure in a lot of y'all's areas, the bite is starting to pick up. A 64-pound blue. Dang right. Should have been in my boat. Should have been in my boat. I got to get my butt back on the freaking water. Catfish Chris. Did I miss? There's Annette Morgan. There's Junior War Scout. Somebody hit that button. Let's talk a little spring fishing. There's Catfish Clothing. I'm sorry I missed you, Chris. Post that up again. There's Laura the Explorer. There's some names coming in I hadn't seen in a while. Appreciate y'all coming back in and joining us tonight. I figured it'd be kind of an open mic night. Maybe talk a little spring fishing or whatever y'all want to do. Well, usually spring. All right, Junior. Appreciate it. Usually spring, I start looking for bedding areas that the crappiest stuff running. And the state of North Carolina, we can use game fish as long as we catch them in hook and line and count them as our creel. Legal. Woo. I barely get on that thing.
What is going on, brother?
What's on, Mr. Creole?
Oh, man, enjoying some nice sunshiny weather after all the rain we got yesterday.
Yeah, the sun finally come out about 2 hours before the sun started going down here. So I was glad. There's Lance coming. There's Lance out there. There's Ghetto Rig. Let's bring him in too. We'll get a full house. What's up, Junior?
What's up, my man?
What's going on?
That was a pig. That was a pig you caught the other night.
Sorry, I had a call coming in.
Oh, that's all right. How big was that fish you put in the boat the other night? He must not can hear us. Can you hear us, Junior?
Yeah, the call interrupted his audio, I guess.
Yeah. So, Creole, how you been doing, boy?
Had a call interrupt mine now. Everybody wants to call. Let's see. Hang on a second. We're going to fix this.
Yeah, there's Mr. Two Stands in the house.
Let's see. Okay. All right. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, I got you. I got you good.
Okay, so I can't hear you. Hang on. I'm going to jump out and jump back in. Hang on.
Got you. There's Mark from Catfishing Crappie. Junior, you're froze. Flathead spot for the season. Shell crackers near the bank. New structure. There you go. Junior will come back in a second. Let's go ahead and take him out. He'll come back in. There you go. There, he went out. He'll come back in. But so yeah, what I'll do is I start looking towards whatever is starting to spawn. To me, spawning fish are easy fish to be picked out by the catfish or any other predator. Downtown Ernie Brown, there's David Smith. So that's the kind of areas that I start looking for. You know, y'all know that I'm a shallow water fisherman anyway. I love shallow water. And so that's the areas I start looking for. I usually catch crappie and any other bait fish that I can use at the time, but I'd prefer to use whatever is spawning at the time. The dogwoods are starting to open up here. So to me, that's telling me that the crappie are headed to the bank. Let me change that light. That's getting on my freaking nerves. Sorry about that. So that's what I kind of look for is the bedding areas. There's Mr. Wampus Cat in the house. Y'all know he's a shallow water fisherman too. We like using crappie for bait, but we'll use anything we can get our hands on, truthfully. And I think that's what a lot of people end up doing is if they can't find the fish that they prefer to use, then they'll use whatever's handy. Not to say that one bait's better than the other. So, yeah, I look for shallow water or staging areas where they're getting ready to move up and have access to shallow water and structure. Those are the areas that I look towards fishing for catfish this time of year. There's still going to be some fish in the deeper waters moving up. They're still going to be in the river channels, but the river channels that I look for maybe is not in the actual main part of the river or the lake. Appreciate it. But actually the creeks, the river channels in the creek channels. I put two words in there. I didn't need to. Creek channels, not river channels, but creek channels. Y'all knew what I meant. Target shallow flats and the back ends of bays, especially if they have creek channels. Yeah, that's what I was trying to spit out. So dang, now my computer's trying to restart.
Well, we all having technology problems tonight, ain't we?
I'm telling you.
Man.
Last week I couldn't keep the daggum thing going when me and Chad was in there. That son of a gun drove me crazy.
Always something.
Yeah, so I walked my tail up here to the building. I knew I had a good signal up here.
There you go.
You was on some pretty good fish the other day.
The river was good to us Sunday. Yeah. It was real good to us. The spot, and it's a spot that I fish a lot. It really is. But it's a big, convergence where the outflow of the Mississippi meets the Red River and actually forms the beginning of the Chafalaya River. It's a big point where two big ledges come in. It's got a shallow sandbar on one side full of bait, and that big ledge leads right to those three dams where that hydroelectric plant is. So tons of fish travel that spot back and forth. So now that the water's warming up a little bit, the water temperature in that spot because of Red River is close to 60 degrees right now. Whereas everything coming out of the Mississippi is still 50 degrees.
Right.
So you got a big travel area, a point, two ledges coming in, warmer water right in that spot. I mean, it just, during the spring when the fish become active and in the fall when they're active, it's always a hot spot right there. Always is.
Well, you said it right. Where anytime you got a convergence of two bodies of water coming into one, there's so much debris, bait, and everything that gets drawn into those areas because you might have flooding up on one side, and that water's bringing all kind of debris, worms, insects, everything else into that water, where the other one might be not getting that kind of water flow. And when you get them two coming together, that to me, that's just like a big fish attracted.
Yeah. And a big thing that, in fact, I finally learned that this year. Couldn't figure it out until this year, but I've literally passed over that spot with my boat in the past, not really marked anything, move on.
Right.
Well, for some reason earlier this year, I passed over it, didn't really mark anything. I turned right around, passed over it again in a span of 60 seconds, passed over the exact same spot, but then I marked fish. Like, go, turn around, pass over, mark them again. Okay. I said, well, let me see something here. Turn around. I passed a fourth time. Didn't mark them. And I started moving around. I would mark them, then lose them. Mark them, then lose them. That was telling me that those fish were moving through that area, just moving. I would never hit the same marks in the same place twice.
Gotcha.
So that's what told me, I said, these fish are moving through here. And Sunday was a good example. When I passed through Sunday, I passed a couple of times, marked a couple of little bitty marks here and there. Didn't really see much. So I said,
right,
fish move through here. I need to spend a little time. And, well, y'all saw what happened.
Yep.
I never marked any of those fish. I never did.
Well, see, and a lot of times you got to go with your gut feeling on stuff. That light's got me whited out.
It's just, I know Epic talks about that. A few other people talk about that. That's what you call a high percentage area. Yeah. If you sit there long enough, you're going to catch fish. They're going to come through. It's just a matter of when they come through. And right there, early in the morning and at midday, it seems like that's when they want to. I'm catching them traveling between. Probably they're going up to the hydro to feed, and they're coming back in that deep water to lay down. That's my theory. Can't really prove it, but they pass through. Go figure.
Well, if I was you, is it legal to tag fish in your area?
There's no laws against it that I know of. How about that?
I would check on it and go to fishtagger.com and start tagging fish.
Yeah, you never know.
And if you catch them again, and you might catch them in a different area, then you can start saying, hey, there's a pattern starting to form here.
Yeah, they're moving around because it's the same tall, deep ledge that comes from way down the river, makes that turn at the convergence, passes by the point, goes a few miles up, and then turns and goes into the outlet where the hydroelectric dam is. So it's all one big deer trail, let's call it. Because essentially it's the same theory.
Right.
You hunt a deer trail because things are moving through. They are. It's just a matter of time. Right. Same thing with fish in these high percentage areas. They're going to use it. They're going to travel. You just have to be a little lucky, I guess, and catch them on the move.
Well, you heard David Martin talk about it quite a few times. I've seen him posted up on Facebook where he'll set on a point and he'll pick certain points that he knows there's a transition right there.
Yeah.
There's a travel point that they're always going to come through there. Now, you might set up and it might be an hour or two before they make that transition. That's where you sit down and eat your burger or eat your sandwich, put your baits out, maybe refresh. By the time you go to refreshing your baits, the rods will start hitting.
Yeah.
So that's where, to me, I can understand the tournament guys that's 45 minutes at most, and then they gone. 45 minutes, and they're trying to catch those fish in the transition. But to me, about time he reeled those rods in, those rods might have been getting ready to go down.
Yeah, and the one bad part is about fishing, let's say a transition area like that is, unless you fished that particular spot a lot, which I've got hundreds of hours of fishing that spot. I know it very well. I have that advantage. But before then, it was kind of like bank fishing. It was sit and wait kind of thing. sat there for an hour thinking, I need to stay there a little longer. I need to stay a little longer. And then before you know it, 4 hours goes by and not get a bite.
Right.
And there are other times where 10 minutes into it, the rods start going down. But at least once you fish that spot enough, you kind of start getting a little pattern to how the fish behave in that area. And I finally, it took me 3 years and a lot of data of fishing it, but we're starting to figure out why they hang out right there and when.
Yeah. Junior's back. That's I'll bring him in a second.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes there's a guy that fishes the Southeastern, and Junior he can convince it. I think what is his name, Junior? He'll go set on a hole the whole night, and he wins a lot of tournaments.
Yeah.
On Southeastern.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember his name. I'm pretty much in a tournament.
Evan, and his name, first name Evan or last name Evans.
I'm bad with names. I know faces.
He also fishes with the Yakking Boys.
Yeah. Evan Martin.
Evan Martin. Yep. He's done learned his water's good enough that this man knows he'll go set on a spot, and he might not catch nothing. But the rascal, he wins a fair amount of tournaments or hits in the money a fair amount.
Yeah.
Yep.
So sometimes patience does pay off.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. It
depends on the time of the year for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what
here.
I was getting ready to say, what you was talking about, your hole, setting up that pattern. Then you've got to learn, all right, I'm seeing a pattern, but what time of year was that pattern setting up? Was it spring, fall, summer, winter? Did you start seeing that pattern forming in early spring? You might go back late spring before the spawn gets ready to hit and might not find a fish there.
Yeah.
That's why I say keep a journal. Keep a journal. Keep a journal, because
I would lose it if I had a journal. I keep it in my head. Anybody fishes with me, I'll go through my phone. You see me scrolling through, looking at pictures. But I caught this, that fish, and when I hit details, it tells me what time I caught it. I've got location lock on my pictures. It tells me the location and everything.
There you go. See, that's a journal, really. That you keeping that, and usually when you pull that fish up, because especially if it was a good fish, it's going to be fresh on your memory anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we was asking you before you got knocked off, how big was that fish you caught the other night, your PB?
Me and my brother called it. Richard was on the phone actually when I was reeling the fish in. We was talking. He thought I was playing games with him. He's like, "You ain't got that fish in yet?" I'm like, "No, I can't get it in." But it was we called it at 54.
Dang,
right. I didn't have a tape measure to measure it or nothing like that. But I'm 6'5", 6'6", and I could hold it up to my throat, and the tail was on the floor of my boat.
Dang right.
Long fish.
It's crazy. You know, Blake caught that fish a month prior in a tournament on the River Hogs tournament, let it go at Nivens Creek. So in a month's time, it came up 12 to 14 miles up lake and gained 4 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I like the fish taggers that you was telling him about checking on. I've tagged probably 20 fish around the 20 to 30 pound range to see how fast they grow. And actually, Tyler Baldwin, I think, caught one of the fish flatheads that I tagged yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah. And see, that helps you. Even if somebody else catches it, they go in and they put the information in, as long as it ain't Dieter. Now, Dieter, he puts in a Dieter code and you can't read his code. But most people put in enough information. They might not tell you exactly where they caught that fish, but they'll give you the area, the vicinity.
Yeah.
So if they do that, then you yourself can start setting up this journal in your head or on paper. All right, I caught it on this date, and he caught it on this date, this far apart. Or like that one that Dieter, Richard, and wasn't it Jeff caught the same fish almost to the day, a year apart.
Wow.
Within 100 yards of the same place that each one of them caught it.
Yep. But I was actually marked a bunch of flatheads Sunday when I was sitting there. I dropped right on top. No, I have caught some shallow. I fished Saturday night, and I wasn't going to go fish Sunday, and then I decided to go fish because I had like 50 perch in my live well. Right. And between the two nights, I I lost count of how many fish I caught, but I roughly caught 20, 25 flatheads and probably 16 blues.
There you go.
Wow.
And that, like I said, you see how big my hands are. That 54 come off a perch bigger than my hand.
Dang, that's
I
what
like
about.
big baits.
Yeah.
Big bait, big fish. It eliminates,
Big
sometimes it eliminates the small bites, but you could take that little 5-pound flathead and eat that big perch too.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I was on the phone with Richard and we was talking and I was reeling that in and 2 more rods went down. All my rods ended up getting tangled up on the boat. Then after I got the fish in and I released it, I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh crap. I started seeing my rods again. I forgot I had 3 other fish on. But I was sitting up on a ledge that I was on that goes to a flat. It was, I think I was in 26 feet of water where I was at, and it went up to a flat that was like a foot, and then I had 39 foot that I caught that fish in. It was like 39, 40 foot that big blue came out of. But I've been catching more bigger fish deeper than shallow right now.
Hey, see, that's with me too. Same
my
thing.
Shallow pattern ain't came in effect yet because I still think it's a little early. We had that cold snap hit us and all this rain.
Yeah.
But here soon you'll see me 5 foot or below.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why bottom of my boat's all scratched up.
Yeah. See, every fish I caught the past 2 weeks, Sunday and then the weekend before when I fished, come out of 92 foot of water.
Dang, right.
Almost 100 foot. Yep.
Did them fish stink pulling them out of deep water like that?
Did they what?
Stink. We got a lake up here, Lake Norman, and I caught some out of 80 foot of water in a tournament, and them fish just stunk. They smelled like they were stagnated.
I've had that happen to where I've caught fish all day, and every one of them stunk real bad, but that doesn't happen to me all the time, and that didn't happen the past 2 weeks. I think personally, I notice that every time I catch them when they smell real bad, their bellies are really, really full, like they've been feeding really, really heavy. That's when I noticed that they got that kind of rotten smell to them. But it's not obviously it's not a deep water thing because every fish I would catch would smell like that. I haven't caught a fish in less than 50 foot of water in a year and a half.
Oh man,
yeah,
I'm a foot to 5 foot person.
Yeah, that's me, Junior. That's me.
I'm a shallow fisherman.
To me, shallow is less than 30 foot.
Yeah,
but, like Junior just said, you can't put them blinders on.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
You put them blinders on, and you're gonna miss a lot of good fish.
Yeah.
A lot of fun fishing. I mean, it sounds like both y'all had good days the other day. So good day and one night.
I was gonna go back tonight, but I didn't. I gotta let my hand heal up. You can see it still. He chewed me up.
Yeah, buddy.
That's not a bad problem to have, though.
Hey, you got
what is when you're laying ceramic tile. I'm sitting here doing a tile shower, so all that grout stuff's getting in my hand.
Oh, they jumped off of here. I was getting ready to bring him in. Catfishing Freedom. Sorry about that, guy. I was going to bring you in. I was waiting on us to get through what we was talking about. March the 20th, past 3 years in a row, have had an awesome day. The same as that there on the river. This past Sunday, the 20th, 3 50s, a 40, a 30, and lost a 60 or to 70. Yes, your journals. 2 stands. Dang right, Stan. Yeah. Dang right. That's a heck of a day right there. Oh, and he bank fishes though, ain't he?
Oh, mostly, yeah. I mean, I know his. I know Stan 3 does some boat and some kayak stuff. Right. They're at least half his bank fishing, at least.
And
that's on my bucket list.
And it's all comes down to location.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You've got to be on the water that carries that type of fish in order to catch those kind of fish. You know, that's it in a nutshell. We've heard K&B anglers down there on Lake Sinclair. They don't have fish that size in it. So I think he said the largest fish out of that lake is a 50. Then if you're catching 30s, you're catching monster fish.
That's right.
Period. You're don't ever knock yourself down for that. That is good fish. Consider yourself a good fisherman if you can do that.
Yep, that's right. And look, they argue with me all the time when I try to tell them that, but I keep telling Roger and Skip and Zach the same thing. They fish the Ohio River. they're catching really nice fish, and they'll put in some 40s, some 50s, and the occasional 60. But they're doing that in a river that the trophy population has been decimated.
Yeah.
Okay. They're catching the very top 0.1% of fish in that river.
Yeah.
And yes, I am catching similar size fish and maybe a few more of them than they are, but 100-pound plus fish get caught in my river all the time.
Right.
So they're doing a better percentage of what's in their waters than what I am.
Yeah.
And that's how you got to look at it. If the biggest fish in your waters is 40 pounds and you're catching 30s, you are smoking it.
Yeah, most definitely. Don't ever talk yourself out.
Absolutely.
That's Wiley. Wiley's got plenty of 30s and 40s.
Yeah. And and that's something I've heard Dieter talk about and Jeff talk about, Jeff Manning. They think that Wiley's topped out. I don't think so personally, but I understand their thinking of it is because they are so many 30s and 40s in that water.
Yep.
20s, 30s, and 40s. I mean, you can just about go out any day if the fish are biting decent and put at least a 20 in the boat on Wiley.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. So, I can understand that, but at the same time, Wiley's got so much freaking bait in it. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
When I was out there Saturday and when I went to my bait hole, I use a cast net. I don't want to sit there with a sabiki rig if I ain't got to. I caught 110, 120 perch in 10 minutes.
Dang right.
Wow.
That's why everything.
Pretty good size perch.
Oh yeah, they was big as my hand. Half of them was jumbo perches. Now I had some that was smaller ones and stuff like that. And most of them I had 12 rods fishing both days, and I had dedicated like 5 or 6 rods of live bait the whole time.
12 rods. Wow.
Yes, sir. I usually fish with 16
on the live baits.
It was probably a 60-40 ratio from live bait to dead.
There you go.
Wow.
So people, there you go. Blues will hit live bait twos.
Mm-hmm.
People say they don't. My last 2 PB blues, it was 45 was my last one. It was a year ago I caught it. It was caught on a perch about 4.5 inches live on a flat upriver. I was all the way up lake, and I was mid lake this time.
Mm-hmm.
Dang right.
Yeah.
See,
I think if you're fishing in an exact spot where they are feeding, if you're fishing in bait, then definitely the blues will be prone to hit live bait because that's what they're chasing anyway. I think on these travel areas, I think the cut bait shines because you're attracting them to it with the blood and everything.
If I set up like that, if I set up in an area I know they're traveling because it's hard to mark them, like wintertime when it gets real cold, I'll sit there. I run live baits all year round. I'll maybe have 2 or 3 live baits out, and the rest to be all cut bait.
Right.
But that's how I caught my 53-pound flathead. I was following the bait, found the bait. I set up in front of them. I said, these fish I seen them moving like you was talking. Every time I was scanning, they wasn't in the same spot. So I set about 20 yards in front of the bait. 20 minutes after that rod hits the water, that 53-pound flathead got hooked.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and what you just said was similar to what Ted was talking about the other night on Catfish Weekly about when the bite stops. It ain't that the bite stopped; they just moved.
Yeah.
They're out at night to feed. He was talking about flatheads. They coming out at night to feed, and blues too. So if you can pattern, all right, the bait's moving upriver, and you know that because of the time of year or whatever, just the knowledge that you gain, then you move ahead of it, set up, and wait on them to come to you.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And that's what I was saying earlier, that one good spot that we fish so much. Like I said, I've got hundreds of hours in that spot. We've got it patterned down so well to where I can almost predict the size of fish that we end up catching, because it happens every time. The first one may be a little small, then they'll get bigger, they'll get bigger, they'll get bigger. Then all of a sudden the bite will just shut off. 15, 20 minutes later, a rod gets hammered, usually by at least a 50 or so.
Good there. That's good.
And then you may not catch a fish for another hour after you caught that big one. then the pattern starts all over again.
There you go.
That big fish comes in, all the other fish move out because I guess they don't want to mess with him. You catch him, and it takes a while for the other fish or more fish to come move through. And it's the same thing. They start a little smaller, and they slowly go up.
Yeah, and I mean, you think about it, a 50-pound fish can suck down a 5-pound catfish like it ain't nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's food for them, you know.
Trying to see I just now learned how to get the comments on while I was live. Paul asked the question about the perch. I was catching the perch in 27 foot of water with my cast net.
What size cast net holes you got?
Actually, I ordered the wrong one this time. I usually get all my cast nets from Jamie K Outdoors, but he didn't have any, so I jumped on Amazon. I usually get 1/2 inch to 1 inch holes. This one here is 3/8. A lot of the small fish get stuck in it.
Yeah.
Well, this is a heavy net. It's a 10-foot net that I got, and it's one of the heaviest nets I ever had. It sunk quick.
Yeah, but just 3/8 holes actually put a lot of drag on your net going down than
it does.
A 1-inch net or whatever. And,
but I thought about putting some tape around it so in deep water, you know how it'll stay opened up. But I'm worried about if I do if I put the tape on the net, because I've done a lot of research on that, it slows the net down too. If you're too slow, you're not going to get them.
Right, especially in perch.
Usually your tape nets run the bigger mesh size, like 5/8, 1 inch, stuff like that. But you can try it and see how it works.
Yeah, the net I just messed up. It was a 1 inch, 9 foot 1 inch, and that thing it sunk quick.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
quick.
Yeah,
but for what I seen, the net it was $60. I was like, I can't go wrong. I need a net to catch bait regardless.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, you don't want to throw them big heavy nets a whole lot.
No, sir.
No, not at all.
That's why I got 2 nets on my boat: a light net and a heavy net.
Yeah, that dadgun Jamie can throw him some guns all day long. I don't see how he does it.
I couldn't do it.
That son gun will mash you like a pimple. He'd ever have to grab a hold of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he'll be out there throwing a cast net in 12-degree weather and flip flops.
Yep.
No.
Flip flops. Ice all over his boat, freezing on his boat. That's like flip flops.
Yep.
It don't get that cold around here. Thank God. No.
Sometimes it will here. We don't get it often.
12 degrees? No. I'm going to do a cooking video instead. Oh, no.
Of course, I think our lowest we got this year was probably 20, though.
Yeah. We got a couple nights, I think, down into 18, 19.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Dang. That's wild.
Now, down in Arkansas, when I was down there, it got cold down there.
You can have that. And once in a while we do. Once in a while we'll get a winter where the ponds are freezing, and they won't freeze all the way over, but they'll start getting some ice on them. But we hadn't had.
I hadn't seen your comments, Kentucky.
Yeah, Jim's been trying to mess with you on here.
I just now seen the button. Yeah, I seen the button where it says comments, and I was like, because I was just seeing us three on the screen, and I hit the comments, and they started popping up.
Yeah, it'll pull up. Yeah, like right now, I'm on my phone. I can look at chat,
too.
But then if I look at the chat, I can't see anything else.
Yeah.
Well, I see us in the background. It's real veil. You can't see it much, but I got the comments because I'm on my phone too.
Yeah.
That's he said because you're sitting in a Ford chat, Chad.
Hey, look, you gotta have a Ford truck. Look, Ford truck beside me. I'm a Ford man. I got 4 Ford trucks.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about right there.
I call my new one. It's a truck Stang. Everybody says I bought a truck with a Mustang motor, so I named my truck Stang.
Well, that's basically. I mean, I got a Coyote in mine too, so same thing.
Yeah, I just sold a one with a 3.5 EcoBoost with bigger turbos, and I went with the Coyote this time.
I love mine.
I'm a Chevrolet guy, but I don't care as long as it gets me from point A to point B. I don't care.
Yeah,
I feel you there, James.
I got a Chevrolet for a work truck and a Ford for a personal truck.
There you go.
I'm not going to even get into it about which one stays in the shop a lot more than the other one.
The bow tie.
Oh Lord, the Fishing Freedom. If you're still in here, jump back on here, buddy. We'll bring you in. The screen would have got a little. I don't know how to play with these screens to get so many people in here. I'd have brought you in. So don't think I was trying to exclude you, buddy. You might have got mad and run off. I hope not. So this time of year, are y'all changing which baits that you use from winter to spring to summer?
Not really. I try to run the
Not
same
really.
baits all year round, but the bait size I change.
Yes. That I will agree with.
That's the key with me. Like, I was out there Saturday and Sunday, both days. You know, I run a bunch of large baits, but on my cut bait, I run different sizes. I'm running 9 and 10 aught hooks right now, and I put different sizes on. Once I seen the size that they was feeding on, I put all the hooks the same. All of them had about the same size baits. But it's pretty much, I'll fish with, my favorite is perch and shad all year round, but I'll use bass, crappie. You know, I've caught big fish on whole 15-inch crappie.
Yeah.
But shad and perch are where it's at for me year round.
Now, see, y'all have heard me talk about using game fish, crappie, and stuff like that. A 15-inch crappie, the only thing going to be thrown back in the water is going to be the head, because the body's going to be in the grease. The body's going to be in the grease being fried up.
Yeah.
I can't throw a 15-inch crappie. That son of a gun is going to be in my belly.
I'm trying to read what Feels the Water said.
I mean, to be honest, for me, they don't bleed quite enough, and they're not oily enough. Like, not compared to, let's say, a really big shad, or even better, like my number one bait is slicker. I mean, everybody knows that. You know, the skipjack. You know that I'll catch fish on that year round, from 90-degree water to 40-degree water. Doesn't matter. I'll catch fish on it.
Yeah, I've only had skipjack one time. I went to the Cumberland River and fished for a weekend, and had an insider, a buddy of mine that moved down here. It's in the military, hooked me up with a local guy up there, and he told me where to go get them at, and they was there.
Right.
But me personally, I want all my bait alive. So when I cut it, I feel I have better luck when my bait's alive versus sitting on ice. I like cut mine when they're still flopping.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If that's feasible, definitely. Like, certain times of the year, we can literally run up to the hydro, catch the slicker we need for that day, turn around and go fish. I mean, they've been on ice for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and they sometimes they're still twitching when you put them on the hook. When it's possible, that's my favorite.
Yeah, I've had bait that's been in my cooler 3 or 4 days. Like when I went to Tennessee, I took bait with me. So I came to my waters, caught a bunch of gizzard shads. When I went down there, all them locals was looking at me like, where'd you get these big old shad at? I had, 14, 16-inch shad.
Yeah.
And I was giving it to them. And they was like, man, we ain't seen shad like that. But they was bleeding just like I caught them. I turned all my bait upside down after they died. And then when I put them on ice, I put them all head down. So I was taught to do that because of the blood.
Right. I find because the same thing. We got huge gizzard shad over here too. I find when you start getting those 12-inch shad and over, it's almost like a totally different fish. They're a lot oilier, tremendous amount more blood in them. They're even a different color. The big shad around here, they get that grayish color. They're not silvery like the smaller gizzard shad. You swear it's a whole different fish.
Yeah.
You're right, Justin. He does need to use bluegill.
Yeah, right. Richard won't use no bluegill, to
He
me,
won't.
It's not a confidence bait for him, and that's it in a nutshell. Is a lot of times it's whatever bait that you're confident that you catch fish, because whether you realize it or not, you have learned to use that bait to benefit you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And whether it's chicken or whether it's bluegill or crappie or whatever, subconsciously you've learned to use that bait to benefit you and the way you fish.
Yep.
I still think that there's something to the spawning part of it, because if anybody's ever done much brim fishing, especially farm pond brim fishing, and you get back there in those big bedding areas, you can smell that.
Yeah.
You can smell those bedding areas when they spawning and stuff. And if we can smell it above the water, the catfish can send it under the water.
That's right.
So that's what I try to do.
Go ahead. Is match the hatch or match whatever spawning.
That's what I do during when they're spawning, whatever's on their holes and stuff. I try to catch them, and that's what I'll fish with too.
But in deeper water, I mean, the only oily fish that we really have, say in Wiley and our lakes over here, is the shad. Because the white perch ain't an oily fish, and it actually don't bleed as much as the crappie and the bass do. The reason I like largemouth is because they'll bleed like crazy.
Yeah,
they do.
And
I'll fish with channel cats too. I'm telling you, if you ain't never fished with a channel cat, get you some channel cats about 4 to 8 inches. Cut the spurs off of them and throw them out there and watch.
yeah.
Matthew
and you see,
Goodell, I showed him that.
We don't even have enough channel cats to even try. I think I've caught 3 channel cats in the past 5 years. We just don't.
I haven't caught a lot of them neither.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't. We don't have a lot of them. Between the big blues and the big yellow cat, that's food. I'm more likely to catch a pollywog than a channel cat. I can tell you now. Oh yeah. Yep.
So there's been a lot of good information brought out
What's
tonight.
up, Jeremy?
I'm telling all my secrets.
Well,
but yeah, I'm waiting for the spring bite to be dead on, because trust and believe I'll be out there 4 or 5 nights a week.
Well, I'm gonna come jump in the boat. We got to put them bobbers back to use. I need some video footage.
That's why I'm about to. I guess the last time I used them in the wintertime. I used them when the wind was blowing. I let it push on top of the structure I was fishing. I'm gonna get some new batteries tomorrow, so all mine's batteried up and ready to go.
Yeah, the best thing to go is go on Amazon and buy you a box of them. You can get like 112, I think, for like $30.
Oh, that ain't bad there. Because
Yeah,
I think I looked at them.
A box.
Yeah, when I looked them up online, it was like $8.99 for like 2 of them or 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can buy a box for like 30. I'll send you a picture of the box to order.
All right. Yeah, just get up with me, James. We'll go out there and catch them.
Any of them.
Yeah. I know I keep teasing you with it, but you watch this summer while the catfish are spawning. I'm telling you, I got something very special planned for those bobbers. You can see something.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I don't care. Like I said last week, I don't care if you tie a Coke bottle on. I don't care. Just expand your arsenal, because every bit of it's a tool.
Yeah,
rods or hooks, everything is a tool when it comes to what you're doing, and it's the name of the game is using the tool for the trade. I mean, we've got so much stuff that can, I mean, hell, put bigger fish in your boat.
And
saying about 3 more weeks.
The weird stuff,
I think it's closer than that.
Yeah, you know, sometimes doing something out of the ordinary, sometimes that'll put fish in the boat when you ain't doing good anyway else. You know.
What have you got to
I'll
lose?
try a new technique quickly.
Yeah. What have you got to lose?
Yeah. If you ain't catching fish, you know. What
Matthew's on here right now. He'll tell you we've tried a lot of new stuff and it's paid off. We did like 4 trips. You know, dead winter time, it was cold as no other, had the enclosure up, heat, and every trip we was putting 35, 38 pound flatheads in the boat.
Yeah.
And we was trying different stuff, new techniques, new areas, just exploring. We was like, we ain't fishing nowhere we've ever fished before. We're going to find new stuff.
Yeah.
And we found buttloads of structure I never knew was there. I passed it all the time going to spots and never scanned them areas. And there was so much structure, it was crazy.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. I've got a stretch of, because Red River ends right where my fishing spot is at. And they've got a stretch upriver. It's maybe 2 miles from my honey hole, I call it. The water is slower. The water's a little shallower. It's maybe an average of 40, 50 feet instead of 80 feet. Right. But it's nothing but old flooded willow trees, fallen trees. It's got some huge bank cut-ins with a bunch of timber piled in it. And we've looked at it for the past 2 years and said, man, we ought to go yellow cat fishing in there. But we never do. So you know what? I told my dad, I said, as soon as my time is done with the 1 versus 1 tournament, I said, next trip after that, get ready. We getting a bunch of live brim, live pollywog. We gone.
There you go.
Is that the same Red River that runs into the Cumberland River?
It's the same Red River that runs through Texas and Oklahoma.
Oh, I'm not sure. I know when I was in Tennessee, I went to the Red River off of the Cumberland River.
Okay, no, it's not that one then.
Oh, okay.
No, this Red River comes out of like the west, out of Oklahoma, Texas. I don't know how far north it goes, but it comes from there and comes into northwest Louisiana and comes all the way down to where I'm at.
And you got the Red River that's up in Canada where they talk about catching those giant daggum channel cats.
That's a different. Yeah, they have a lot of red rivers apparently.
Yeah. Seeing if anybody's got any questions for y'all. So, and people, I don't know if y'all realize it or not. Creole's talking about river fishing. Junior's talking about lake fishing.
Yep.
But they are a lot of similarities there.
There are.
That you can use either place. You know, I ain't saying go, if you've been a lake fisherman all your life, go out there and jump on the Mississippi for the first time by yourself. You know, you might get a surprise of your lifetime.
You will.
If you got a chance to get on a river that ain't going to kick your butt or scare you, then don't be scared to try some of the same techniques that you use in the lake in that river.
Yeah.
Look for some of the similarities that crosses over to both.
It's a current versus no current thing. That's really the whole deal between rivers and lakes. And I have never once in my life catfished a lake. I couldn't tell you where to start. I'd be lost. I'd have to take a lot of skunks to maybe get something figured out. But because
maybe not.
Yeah, because
Navionics will be your best friend.
Hey, man, you never know. Everything I know about how to locate.
You fish the river. You go to a lake, look for river channels. Now, if you go down to Monticello, you can forget it. You ain't gonna find no river channel because there ain't no river channel in there. It's a man-made lake and it's like a bowl, so there is no river.
Well, it's like everything I know about how to locate catfish and how to pattern catfish is based on current. How they behave because of current, how fast is the current, and all this stuff. So you take the current out of the equation, I've got to rethink everything I think I know. It changes things.
Kelly wants to know, Junior, where's the furthest you travel to fish? We lost him.
Another phone call, I believe.
Yeah.
We've got some beautiful lakes around here. In fact, they're oxbow lakes. They're old abandoned river channels, and I've always wanted to go in some of these and drag baits and try this and try that. You just got to go. You can't be afraid of taking a skunk. Just go. See what happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I've always said. If we as human beings, if we didn't take a chance, we'd all still be living in caves and flicking rocks together to try to make fire. Somebody had to say, that looked like that would roll.
Yeah.
I imagine the first time somebody cut down a tree to build a house with, he probably dropped it on his brother, and he could have said, "Oh, that ain't gonna work," and we'd still be living in rock huts or grass huts. So
yeah. I mean, one of Roger's sayings that he says all the time, and I'm trying to word it right, but it's the truth. If you always do what you've always done, you're never going to get more than what you've ever gotten. I believe that's how it goes.
And you can get yourself into a rut.
Oh yeah.
There's somebody that right now, and I don't know, he might have broke that pattern, but can't get out of a certain pattern. He catches good fish. But he can't make that next step.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. He's a heck of a fisherman. He throws good baits. He fishes good waters. There's something there. And it might take another set of eyes on the boat that's more experienced than all of us to say, "Hey, I know what you're doing."
Yeah.
Or I know what you're not doing.
Yeah.
And to help with that. And that could be all of us. Jeff Manning got in a rut real bad. And, Jeff Manning's a heck of a fisherman. Golly, he's got the late record on Lake Wiley.
Better believe it.
But he got in a rut. And right now he's not able to fish because of his wife. But that's he'll get back into it sooner or later. But he's got so much knowledge there. With all that knowledge, you can still have runs of bad luck. Well, look, I had a run of bad luck a couple years ago until I got back on the boat with Matthew Anthony.
Yeah.
I couldn't hardly buy freaking fish. I was fishing the good spots. I was fishing good baits. But somebody had done put the mojo on me, boy.
Yeah.
But I got on the boat with Matthew Anthony. He showed me a few little different techniques, and I incorporated some of that into my ways. But me and him got on the fish that day. We was tearing the fish up.
Yeah.
But sometimes it pays to go jump on the boat with somebody else. Just to get a different perspective of things.
Yep, absolutely. Or look, hey, that's what YouTube is all about. Jump on YouTube, watch other people fish, different areas, different styles. Look, I tell everybody, everything I do right now, I am a product of YouTube. The only way I knew how to catch a trophy catfish before I started watching YouTube was to snag one.
Right.
That's the only thing I knew. And I decided, you know what, this snagging ain't the way to go. It's just not. It's not doing it for me. I don't know. We're not doing it. And everything I know about trophy catfishing, I learned it from YouTube at some point or another. I just had to adapt it to my waters because I'm the only one that fishes this way in my area. I didn't have anybody to learn it from locally. I had to bring it from out of state, let's say, and bring it here.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, and you were like you just said, and you people don't realize it. We have a lot of inherited ways of doing things that was done by our grandpas, our daddies. It was handed down. In your area, big catfish, they were snagged, and it was for food.
Yeah. Food. That's right. It was not at all considered a trophy fish. I still get funny looks when I tell people I catch these big fish, like, oh, you don't eat that, huh? Well, no, I know I put them back. I catch them just for the fun. And they're confused. Like, why would you want to do that? Hey, come with me one time. You'll find out.
Yeah. It's the sport. It's the fun. I mean, I'd rather eat them little small catfish anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Me, I like 8 to 10 inch cats.
Yeah.
Fry them whole, pull the top bone off, the bottom bone off, bite the tail off of it, eat the tail, and then just peel the meat off the bone.
Oh, Dad loves those.
Salt and pepper.
Because here, that's the only restriction we have. They have to be at least 12 inches to keep them here.
Oh.
And Dad likes them 12 and a quarter.
Right.
The smallest he can possibly get. That's what he wants.
So just small enough that you can drop the whole fish in the fryer.
Actually, he puts them whole in his smoker.
Oh, I hear you. Now, I've never tried that.
Hey, it will ruin you from eating fried fish. I'm telling you.
I don't know about that, boy. I got grease running through my veins, boy.
Well, me too. Trust me, me too. But I'm telling you,
because I had a buddy before his daddy died. We used to go camp at his place. He raised them big thoroughbred horses.
Oh, yeah,
$1 freaking horses. But he had 2 farm ponds, and we'd camp on the dam in between the 2 ponds.
Yeah.
And when it was time to cook, we'd have one guy set up the cooker, get the grease popping, one guy catching fish, and one guy cleaning them. And we'd be catching them big 1-pound bluegill.
Yeah.
Them big old black bluegill.
Oh, yeah.
And them things will still be wiggling when they hit the grease, son.
That's what I'm talking about.
That right there, boys and girls, it don't get no better than that. That's what Lyle's talking about. He likes bluegill just about better than anything. When you can catch them like that, son, it don't get no finer than that.
Oh, look, even now, I grew up eating the whole fish. I didn't know what a filleted fish was till I was at least a teenager. I didn't grow up like that. Look, Dad used to have a little spot. He would go catch sac-a-lait, and I'm talking some big ones. If it wasn't at least 12 inches, he would throw it back. And I remember he called me one night and said, hey, I'm frying some sac-a-lait. Come eat at the house. Okay, so I went. And he's got a couple of whole sac-a-lait just with the head cut off. And he's got a 15-inch cast iron skillet, deep one, that he fries them in whole. He still had to fold the tail a little bit to fit a couple of them in that skillet without the head.
Yep.
It's like, Dad, how big were they when you didn't measure them? He's like, nope.
Yep.
They had to be 17 and a half inches. They had to be, but
had to be.
We'll never know.
I mean, them old big blue. Well, you're talking about sac-a-lait, though.
Sac-a-lait, yeah.
I'm getting ready to say them old bluegill. The older they get, their nose gets more rounded, so their head ain't really as long as you think. But no, you talking about sac-a-lait.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It went right over my head.
But it's the same thing with them brim. I like them big brim. You can't hold them in one hand to unhook them. You got to put them right there.
Yeah.
Take the hook out. That's the ones I like.
I'm trying to get back in that pond. We had a guy come in here last week or the other week, Mr. Yelton, a good friend of mine. I fought fire with him for years, worked with his brother and stuff. But anyway, he lived at the pond, and we had this ponds that we used to be able to fish, and now ain't nobody can get in it. So we're trying to get back in it.
I got you.
But it was not unusual. It was not unusual to catch 1 pound bluegill.
Hey, that
was not the exception. It was not unusual. That's where my largest bass come from. It's right at 11 pounds, largemouth.
You catch a mess of those on an ultralight, you have fun.
I tell you what, we fried up some, Jeremy. They were so big when you put them on a dinner plate, you didn't have room to put one French fry.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
You'd have to cut slices in them like cooking whole flounder.
Yeah, you got to score them. Yeah.
And you just lay that big old fillet right off of them bones, and no meat gets wasted. That's why I don't like filleting fish, because you waste a lot of meat.
Yeah.
When you fry that fish like that, all that meat comes off with it.
Yeah. And in fact, you know what? That does give me an idea. One of these days, I'm going to have to fry some whole, some brim or whatever, and I'm going to have to show people live how we take apart a whole fish. It's all I need is a fork. It's so easy.
Yep.
Like I said, rip the fin, take that fork, pass it on that backbone, and done. Whole thing comes off.
Do you eat the tail?
I do not. My dad does.
It's like a tater chip. Oh, I love them.
And that's half the reason that I don't eat the tails is because Dad would always get to them before us. Whenever he would cook, none of the fish had tails on them. No, the grease was still popping, and he's like that.
I run some old bulls one day, and it blew my mind. I went catfishing. This is back before Wiley had big trophy blues and flatheads in it. But I still use brim for the channels. The channels love brim, man.
The smaller ones,
And I come by this old boy, and he's an old country boy, and he had a bucket full of little old brim about that big. To me, that's bait. That ain't eating size. That's bait.
Yeah.
And I said, man, you got some good-looking bait there. He said, bait, hell. He said, I fries them hard and eats them whole. I said, what?
I've heard of people doing that.
He said, we take the guts out of them, the scale off of them, and fry them hard. Like a tater chip. I said, I've never heard that.
I've heard of people taking some little bitty brim. Yeah, they fry them whole and basically eat them like a sardine.
Yep, like a tater chip.
I've heard of that.
He said he fries them crisp, salt and pepper, and fry them crispy.
Yeah.
I said, well, I learned something new, man. Learn something new every day.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, I eat weird stuff, okay, just because of where I'm from. But every now and then, somebody will throw me one that I gotta kind of like, wait, you do what?
I'm gonna have to get with you. I'm gonna have to get some couple recipes from you. I used to work with old Cajun, and he was deep wood Cajun, and you had to really listen to him when he was talking to understand what he was saying. He was so deep, and but he used to make us some stew, and I had to tell him, look, man, don't make it too freaking hot. You're killing me, because some of it be so hot dang, man, you couldn't hardly eat it. First bite, you didn't have sweat on your brow.
Yeah, and you see, honestly, the way I cook my stuff, I don't like spicy food. I really don't. My stuff is well seasoned, but it's not hot. Right. You know, that's how I do mine.
Right. So he used to make, and you'll have to correct me because I don't remember if it was gumbo or whatever. It'd have like 5 or 6, 7 different sausages and stuff in it.
That sounds like gumbo.
Yeah. And he made, oh golly, I could eat.
If it was more of, let's say, a thin soup served over rice with all the meat in it. Yeah, gumbo. Yeah, well, that's what I did in that. I have a live video on my channel, and I'll walk through the whole process of how to make a gumbo from scratch, the roux and everything.
Go look it up.
Roux and all. Yeah,
you can cook it along with me too, boy.
all you got to do is start it like I do. And cook it with me. You'll be good to go.
Gotcha. Well, Creole, We after 9 o'clock, and I know there's what other show comes on tonight, so I don't forget it.
I'm embarrassed to say I don't.
Is it Anglerholics that come on tonight after me?
I thought no, the Anglerholics, they do their game show on Saturdays.
Okay. Dang. Somebody tell us. I want to shout them out, and I'm sorry that I done forgot who comes on tonight. I think they come on at 10 o'clock. Is it Jody?
Oh, you know what? I think it might be.
I think it is Catfish
Doc
Jody.
Tales. Yep, Doc Tales. It is tonight. Okay.
Yeah, Doc Tales.
That's,
all right. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So don't forget, y'all check them out. They'll have a great show, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, God bless y'all. Thank y'all for coming in. Y'all made a great show tonight. Don't run off, Creole. Great show tonight. I had a blast. We'll do this again. I like bringing people in. Just if you want to come in, and some great information come out tonight. So God bless y'all. We'll see y'all next Wednesday night. See you.